So hopefully you've handed up your deal or no deal assignment, and you've already done 5E, which is probabilities. Remember, it's the number of successes out of the total number of possibilities that you have. So when you were looking at rolling a dice, a 6-sided dice, you know there were only 6 possibilities. So now what we're going to do is say, what happens if we've got 2 things going? And we can use simple grids, 2-dimensional grids, to show all of the outcomes that are possible. You can see it's pretty simple here. If you've got a 4-sided spinner here, 4 sectors, they're all even, and we toss a coin. So you've got the options here. You could head up a head or a tail for tossing the coin, and then you could get a 1, 2, 3, or 4 for the spinner. And so that means you can see you could get a head and a 1, a tail and a 1, a head and a 2, tail and 2, and so on. Okay, so you can also see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 outcomes in total. And if we're asked, what's the probability of getting a head and a 4? Now, and. Okay, so it has to be the head and it has to be the 4. So we've only got one option there, which is different to I'm happy that you get a head or a 4. So all of these now are valid. So 4 plus you can get this one because that's a 4. Not a head there, but we said or. So either option was fine. Okay, so pretty simple there. When it comes to you making your own up, so 2 coins are tossed. We'll stick with what they've been telling us with the textbook here. So you can do your, excuse my wobbly hand there, you can have an option here for the first coin. You can toss a head or you can toss a tail. And similarly for the second coin, you can toss a head or you can toss a tail. And you can see now that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 options. Okay, I mean, you could have said, well, I could have listed those quite simply instead of having to do that. Absolutely. We also have our good old friend, the tree diagram, where we could have said, well, our 2 options on the first toss was a head or a tail. And then we toss the coin again and we get a head here or a tail there. Your choice. I mean, they are asking you to draw a 2-dimensional grid, so that's what they're after. And pretty simple. So you can see there's 4 outcomes altogether. So what's the probability of getting 2 heads? So there's only one option there, has to be that one. So that means the probability, and I would write this as head, that's going to be 1 out of 4. Okay, what's the probability of getting a head and a tail? So now a head and a tail, it means I can have head and a tail here or tail and a head there. So now that means that's going to be, so probability head and a tail, that's going to be 2 out of 4. So basically odds 1/2. All good with that? And last but not least, if it's asking us to do at least 1 tail, so at least 1, that means I could have this option here. I could have, because that's a tail and a head, I could have this option here, which is a tail and a head as well. So at least I've got 1, but at least means I could also have 2 tails. So that's now going to be probability, probably have to write that, at least 1 tail, and that's now going to be 3 out of 4. Okay, so just shows you that you can draw these sample spaces quite easily and then you read them off. Now when you go back, I think, oops, that's a bit quick. So you can draw your, for this one, a coin and a dice are tossed simultaneously. So you've got the coin, you've got up this way, you'll have a head and a tail, and then along the horizontal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so, and then count out how many you've got. I think you know the difference between odd numbers and even numbers. Okay, you might have to look up for things like this what a prime number means, and so on and so forth. So give that a go. I think you'll be pretty confident to do that, I hope. And carry on. Feel free, please, to read the examples. They're really nice and easy to follow. Okay, write some of this stuff down. So please write your notation in the blue boxes into your and definitions into your book, and then progress. I will catch you next lesson.